I've been thinking about this a lot lately in terms of sort of post-industrial revolution, right? Where before that, the household is sort of the basic economic unit rather than the individual, right? And every family has essentially a family business and its extended family and even some workers around. And so it's the the husband, the father of that family was to manage the household, right? He was an authority figure in the sense that it was his responsibility for the common good of that group, but also, of course, then every household would interact within a village and all of these things. Um, but your whole family worked together to produce whatever it is that you were producing to contribute to society. Like your purpose and your value were clear, right? You had your life was rich in meaning because if you're the blacksmith, your father was a blacksmith, your grandfather was a blacksmith, all this knowledge is passed down, this is sort of generational knowledge, and your whole family works together to fulfill that role in society, right? If you were to be eliminated, they'd have no more blacksmith, right? So your purpose and value in society are natural to it, right? Um, Now we live, so men now leave the house, they go out and work a job, or maybe they work from home, but they're highly specialized in what they do. There's no training of their family and the family business, right? Which would be a very natural way for families to function and for family relationships to be built. I mean, one thing is sort of scatterbrained, but um,
Huh.
one thing I've noticed about men, especially professional men who some of whom are captains in their industry, very successful men in business. They have strained relationships with their sons, or even all their children. Like they can't relate to their son. They don't have, they're unable to communicate with them. They're not close with them. And yet, they're at their funeral, there'll be 10 guys that will stand up that they mentored in business that will talk for hours about everything that this guy did for them and how he was a father figure to them. In other words, those are his sons
Yeah.
because of the environment that he was in. He was training and mentoring these men in that family business essentially. And his son, there was no need for any of that. So his son was off doing other things, and he'd come. The dad would come home from work. He can't. He's trying to like let's do sports or let's do something. Get into clubs or Boy Scouts or something to try to create an environment in which we can have this kind of relationship, in which we have a goal to work around, right? Communities based around a goal. Um, and so we're living in a time when more and more, with greater and greater advances of technology, we're able to isolate ourselves more and more, and yet we're having this meaning crisis, and
Yeah.
so it's not surprising.